Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. My name is DaShanna, and in today's video we are going to be talking about your birth plan. If you are new here, my name is DaShanna. I am a speaker, an educator, doula, and mother of two. I wanted to make this video talking about birth plans, birth preferences, and actually talk a little bit about what goes in it, what you should be sure to put on it, and I'm gonna share with you my birth plan that I used with both of my daughters. If you're interested in making a birth plan, go grab a pen, go grab something to write on, and we're gonna go ahead and just do this together. The reason why this is super important is, I think, one, so that you can think through possible situations and what you would want or not want. You can literally go give birth tomorrow or whenever you're due and not have a birth plan. Okay, it's okay. You can have a child without a birth plan. But if you're anything like me, it might help you to have some sort of plan, or at least know your preferences to be able to communicate them to your care team. I also refuse to come off as tone deaf. So as a Black woman, as a Black person in the United States, as a Black pregnant and delivering mom in a hospital setting, I understand firsthand what can happen, what can go wrong, and I've heard so many stories about negligence and just the flat out ignoring of Black women's voice and our pain. So as always, I'm going to keep it 100% real and let you know that your birth plan or your birth preferences is there, and it can offer a lot of support, but it can also offer some protection. So hopefully by now you have your pen and your paper ready. I want to go ahead and let you know that you should write birth preferences across the top. Please note, I am using birth plan in the title of this video for SEO purposes, but what it really is your preferences. Birth and delivery and labor and all of these things cannot be planned to a T. It is extremely unpredictable and things can just happen and change like that. So I want you to go into this understanding that these are your preferences, and communicate that to your care team as well as your support people, and let them know that this is what you prefer in certain instances. So underneath birth preferences, I want you to write your name. I want you to write your support person's name, whether that's a partner, a doula, and then anyone else that will be present in the space, okay? For me, during COVID is when I had my first daughter, and I was lucky to have my husband there because there were some hospitals that had policies that didn't allow anyone in the labor and delivery room other than like the doctors and the birthing person. And so I was able to give birth with my husband there, but we couldn't have any visitors and there could be no one else in the room. I want you to go ahead and write your doctor's name or your midwife's name on the document as well. And I want you to turn the page or get a different piece of paper, and we're just going to throw things out there, all right? So when I set up my birth preferences, I divided it into 3 sections. So the first section was all about labor. What happened once I got there and they decided to keep me there to give birth, right? What was going to happen between when I arrived and when it was literally time to push. The second part is the birth. So during birth, like what is happening, what is the environment, all of that, and what my preferences were. And the third was after the birth. So once the baby is present, what did I want or not want to happen? So labor, birth, after the birth, okay? And when I was thinking through each of those kind of sections, I wanted to keep in mind the environment and pain management. Let's go through my birth plan in hopes that we create yours. At times, it can be a lot easier to think through what you don't want first, and then you can think about what you do want. So if that works for you, do that. This is gonna be in your scratch piece of paper, all right? Here's my birth plan. And during that first chunk, remember I said there were 3 different parts, that first chunk is the labor. So I had set out that I wanted a vaginal delivery. This is something that I knew I wanted. This is also something that my care team wanted for me because I had fibroids and I also have a sickle cell disease type SC. And so doing major abdominal surgery or a cesarean section, also known as a C-section, would kind of introduce a whole other level of risk that we weren't wanting or willing to take if we didn't have to. I also put dim lights and quiet atmosphere, okay? So during my labor, I wanted to be in charge of whatever noise was happening. We did have a playlist on deck, but I don't know if we used it or not. I think we had the TV on, the lights were kind of chill. When I was in kind of those early stages of labor, I was moving around, talking, laughing, having conversations. When things got a little bit more serious, that's when we dimmed the lights. I told like every nurse that I didn't want people coming in making a ton of noise. You often see those memes where like, they're like, hey, they like pull back the curtain and they're like, hey mama. No, please, quiet atmosphere. Don't come in here hooting and hollering. Like I did not want that. So I put that there. Increase mobility. So I wanted to be able to move around, whether it was intermittent monitoring or they had a portable monitor for me or whatever the case may be. I wanted to be able to move around. I don't like feeling confined. I don't like feeling like I can't do what my body naturally wants to do to labor. So I put that there. I also put, please allow me to ask for any pain medication. I know what's out there. I know what's available. I wanted to be the one to ask for it as opposed to somebody continuing to ask me over and over and over if I wanted pain management or pain medication. And then I said, few vaginal exams. I don't believe that vaginal exams are always necessary. Every single time they happen, they introduce some level of bacteria, and I just didn't want a whole bunch of checks. Now, what I will say, I'm gonna stop here. For your labor experience, I delivered at a hospital. For you, it might be at home or a birthing center. What I want you to do is write a separate section for if you have to be transported to a hospital. So yes, you have your preferences of laboring, let's say in your living room in the tub, okay? You have your preferences of having your candles lit, etc., etc., etc. Have a section just in case if you are transported to a hospital, what then do you want to have happen? Thinking through, if you did need to leave the home or your birthing center to go to a hospital, what do you want that to look like? So you could put, in case of hospital delivery, I would like this, 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 and this. The second thing that I will say is that hospitals typically have standards of operational practice, like they already kind of have certain protocols set out for things like this. And so I knew that. And so I didn't include it here because I know that, oh, that's standard practice. So for example, when we get to the birth section, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I knew that I couldn't have candles or even my diffuser. So I brought my essential oils, but I didn't bring a diffuser so that I could still smell them and get the aromatherapy benefits, but I'm not plugging anything into the wall. I'm not lighting a candle, if that makes sense, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and get into the birth section. Here's what I said. I said, during birth, I would like my partner at my side. I would like instruction on when or how long to push. I am someone that does really well with set limits, and if you tell me that this is the goal and this is what I need to do to reach the goal, especially if I'm giving birth, I'm going to do the thing. So just say, okay, this is when it's time to push. We're gonna push for 10 seconds, count, hushed, quiet atmosphere. Okay, we're not screaming and hollering as we count as we count to 10. We're not doing that. And I also reiterated and put calm environment. I said, in case of cesarean delivery. So remember I said vaginal delivery is my preference, but in case of cesarean delivery, I said I wanted clear draping, okay? I wanted to be able to see when they like lift the baby, so clear draping, and I wanted the reunification as soon as possible, as well as skin to skin as soon as possible. So bring my baby to me. Don't have us separated for too long unless obviously medically necessary. So I did put that there. One of the things that was standard practice at my hospital that I delivered in is delayed cord clamping. So waiting until the umbilical cord stops pulsing before they cut it. When I move into my after the birth, I said skin to skin as soon as possible. I also said that my husband will be designated to cut the cord. I wanted to delay all other procedures, testing, all of that until after the golden hour. So I wanted to have that hour of skin to skin, of just that bonding time for me as well as my husband, and I didn't want there to be any disruption of that. So we weren't taking the baby to do any weighing, we weren't taking the baby to do any testing or anything like that before the golden hour was over. So I reserved that time, and they left us alone, which was great. I also put that if there was any separation that was medically necessary, that my husband would accompany the baby. Also, I said that I wanted to meet with lactation, which I did, and so they had a lactation consultant come in once we had been transported into the recovery room and space. So that didn't happen obviously right after the baby was born, but it happened later down the line. I knew that there were certain things that my hospital did already as standard practice, so I didn't include them. And I also wanted to keep this short and sweet. I didn't want this to be a whole bunch of words that people had to read entire sentences. I literally just made it very quick and easy so that you could come into the room, see what stage we were at. Okay, she's in labor, great. These are the things she wants. Okay, this is the birth, great, I'm here, I'm scrubbed in, I'm ready, cool. Like, you know, this is after birth, after the birth, all of the things that she wants, I'm able to just look. As a health professional, I'm able to just look and be like, okay, fine. And that's what I wanted. So that is my birth preferences. When you create yours, you can take those 3 sections and think through pain management as well as environment. So you can make a playlist, you can bring in your ball. I brought in my ball, my labor ball, so I was able to sit and move. I did actually end up getting a portable monitor, so I was able to move around and get out of the bed, and just it was lovely. And you can see if they have balls there, or if you can bring your own, or like the peanut. So they didn't have them there my first pregnancy. The second pregnancy, it was a different hospital. They had the balls and everything there. So it's true that we might have some sort of like plan or idea of how we want our birth to go. Please just know that it is one of those things that cannot be predicted. It is extremely unpredictable and random, and you can have the prettiest, best birth preferences sheet, but things are gonna happen as they may. It is such a good idea to think through the kind of ideas, but I want you to be flexible. That's why I'm using preferences. But I mean, what's that saying? If you ever want to hear God laugh, tell him what's like your plan. So literally have some preferences, read some examples of other birth plans and preferences. You can just Google it and see kind of, oh, I never thought of that. And I think that's another reason why having something like this is so important, because you don't know what you don't know. I remember saying I wanted a clear draping in case of a C-section, and my husband was like, they do that? They have that? They do. So just learning about the different options that are out there and what would make you feel safe, what makes you feel comfortable, and making sure that this, especially for my Black women and Black support people, having this is, I think, very important in terms of the support, but also for your protection. Make sure that your support people have a copy of this. Make sure that your support people know your preferences and can communicate that in case you are unable to communicate for yourself. This is your pregnancy. This is your delivery, labor and delivery experience. This is your baby. And just know that you are able to use your voice and speak up about your wishes and the things that you want and the things that you don't want. So I really do want this to be an empowering thing. I want this to be a fun thing, and I wish all of you the very, very best. Please share this video if you think someone might need it. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. If you are interested in my free blank birth preferences sheet. It is fillable. It's a PDF and it's fillable. You can type right into it or print it out and write right into it, whatever you wish. Go ahead and send an email to info@TheFortitudeFix.com and I will send you a blank birth preferences sheet. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and I will see you right back here in my next video. As always, remember to fill your cup. Bye.